case method is experiential learning at its best. I mean, there's something about when you have to put yourself in the situation and live it that just sticks with you. I'm an alum of the school, and decades after graduating, I still remember the cases. I think the case method is powerful because it puts you into the role of the protagonist, and it forces you to make decisions with imperfect information. And that's really reflective of life out there in practice. I spent 20 years in practice before joining the faculty, and every day I was having to make decisions where the answer was unclear. And the case method forces students to do that every day, with the benefit of many other smart minds in the room who are often coming up with risks and opportunities, pros and cons that you hadn't thought of. I always liken teaching a case to conducting an orchestra. So I was a classical violinist growing up. The reality is I'm not making the music, they are. And my job is to blend the instruments in a way that creates magic. We don't have a room full of violins. We don't have a room full of trumpets. What makes this rich is the different music and perspectives that each student brings to the conversation. It also means that every time it's different. So one of my favorite cases is a case I wrote on the bankruptcy of the city of Detroit. I wrote that case because I wanted to challenge my corporate restructuring students to have to take what they've learned and apply it in a different context. What does it mean to restructure a city? Over the years, though, I teach this case now very differently, in large part due to the contributions my students have made in our classroom discussions over the years. And it's interesting to my students to have them come in for what they think is going to be a finance conversation and realize that this is actually about a lot more than that. It's about questions of equity. Should the city sell the art it owns in its art museum and use the money to just pay the pensioners? No other financial creditors. Is that fair? Is that okay? And it's really about questions of stakeholders. You know, the citizens of the city of Detroit, largely Black, largely poor, are not traditional constituents in a bankruptcy. And so how do you think about how to take care of them? It's not just about dollars and cents. This is about more than finance. And that if they're gonna go be leaders, they've got to start grappling with these questions. So I find in teaching, there are these moments where I can just step back and they have conversation with each other. They don't need me to make the music. And it's in those moments that I just sit there and say, how lucky am I that I get to witness this level of conversation? I also just say they're ready to go forward and change the world.